What's up, everyone? My name is Abiel Ballesteros with SAR Apartment Capital, and today we're going to talk about a particular deal that we just recently purchased, and that is a 95-unit apartment complex in Augusta. Now, this deal in particular had a lot of issues in the sense that it was completely vacant. Now, I know that's not favorable for most investors, but we at SAR Apartment Capital, we actually love these. This property consists of 95 units. All 95 units, like I mentioned, have been completely vacant for a couple of years. So you could just imagine what happens to a property when they're vacant for this long. You know, they get vandalized, they get squatters, they come with a lot of issues. But the purchase price that we bought this property kind of gave us the motivation to take on this project. We bought this property for $3.2 million, which puts us at a very low price. Now, we do expect to spend about an average of $20,000 to $25,000 per unit, depending on some of the conditions some of them are in. Now, the value that we're going to bring to this property is not just that. It's a value that's going to bring to the community itself. And sometimes when these properties are abandoned for so long, what they do is they attract a lot of crime and they attract a lot of issues to the community, and it kind of brings a lot of problems to the neighbors. So what we decided to do is connect with the city of Augusta, work with the city, with the building plans department, and get this property up and going and bringing a beautiful property back into the community. So I want to touch base on a point that happened as soon as we purchased this property. Immediately the local news media outlets approached us and made some local news on what Miami investors are coming into town and buying up the properties, and they're going to increase the rents and push out the local tenants and causes gentrifications in the neighborhood. And I want to answer to that the importance of our business and what importance to all syndicators that are buying these old apartment buildings, these Class C, Class D apartment buildings, where basically they need a ton of money to bring back to life and to bring families back into these properties. And what we found is that the value that comes into an acquisition like this is not just the apartment itself. You know, we also work with local contractors. We also hire locals to work with our properties. We also pull permits. We also engage with contractors on light, electrical, plumbing. You know, all these things bring money back into a city and a community, especially particularly a project like this. Now, the answer to increasing rents and pushing out, locals out of their rents, this property in particular is the complete opposite. This is a low-income housing property. It has a HUD restriction on 40% of the unit. We're going to rent to Section 8 housing on this. So, these are the things that we do in our business that create better places for people to live and their families. And I'm just saying, the bad reputation a lot of investors have now that they're increasing values, increasing rents. Sometimes, these type of properties, you do need to spend a lot of money to make them habitable again. And this is part of our business, but the rents are still going to be feasible for the locals and for the low-income housing projects. So let's talk about the scope of work on a property like this. So when a property's been abandoned for this long and it's had this many issues, you can't just go in there and cosmetically rehab and paint this property. You got to immediately analyze the situation and figure out, okay, what permits do I need to pull? What are the priorities? How do I need to secure this property from being vandalized or squatters coming in? It's a big issue in our business. It's a big issue when you're buying empty buildings. It's not for everyone. Usually when we buy an asset like this, the first thing that we do is secure the whole property. We secure every entry, windows, doors. In some instances, we'll put security cameras with surveillance. We've had those issues where some neighborhoods, boarding up is not enough. So this is one of those that we needed to secure the property, secure the windows, stop the constant break-in and the drug use inside of these buildings. Now, throughout that process, the first 90 days, we're working with the city, we're working with our architects and our engineers, getting our permits, getting our plans submitted to the city. So, it'll take a couple months before we could have approved plans to begin a project like this. So a lot goes into this, but that before process is crucial for us to, do our business and do it the right way and make a place safe. And that's something that's really important to us, especially when you're dealing with new electrical and new plumbing and a lot of items like that could be a hazard if it's not done correctly to the tenants. So why did we choose Augusta? So besides the fact it's the second largest city of Atlanta and well known for its golf tournament, the Masters, Augusta is getting a lot of job growth. In fact, it's predicted in the next 10 years to have over 30% of job growth, and the unemployment is very low. We follow a lot of the migration patterns into different small cities that are in the outer skirts of larger cities, and this one popped up in our radar, and we know that this city is going to do very well in the next couple of years, so we want to be part of it. Remember to follow me on social media, and I'll see you next time.